Enabling behavior is not that we are present, but how we are present in that person's life. In certain situations, we have a choice to walk away, and it is a wise decision. But in other situations, like if your child, for example, your teenager, is going through addiction, or somebody you just have no choice but to love, that might be a different story. It's important to remember that to love somebody with addiction does not equate to staying with somebody with addiction. That is absolutely true. Someone who practices a consciousness approach to change, a consciousness approach to relationships, this is how I would think about either being in a relationship with somebody who is addicted or stepping outside of it. If we haven't met, my name is Anya. This is my book on consciousness, reality, and how to transform your reality from the inside out by becoming a catalyst for change, not just for yourself, but for people who are around you. Here are my top 3 reasons not to stay in a relationship like this. Number 1 is you're staying to change them. Terrible idea. Change in relationships is possible, but if you're staying to change somebody, or if you are sacrificing your well-being, like if I just put a little bit more wood into that fire, maybe they will change. That is not the way to go. That is a terrible idea. Probably time for you to start looking at the exit. The second is if you believe you're ready to leave, you want to leave. In fact, even in your fantasy, sometimes you think, oh, if only just, like a washing machine would drop from the sky on their head and I'll be liberated from this relationship. But I cannot leave because something bad is going to happen. I feel responsible for them, for their well-being, or something bad's going to happen to me. Like, yeah, they're addicted, but they're paying my bills, and I cannot survive on my own. That requires questioning your internal belief system that is buying into some lies. And while it might take a little bit of unpacking and navigating dissolving a relationship that is dependent and has these ingredients, the right direction is still probably to head for the door. Third reason not to stay is if you're being hurt emotionally or physically and you believe it's okay to tolerate that hurt. It is not okay. You can leave. By the way, change in other people and in ourselves is always, always possible. But in terms of our relationships, we are never changing them. Our job is to change the network, the system, by changing ourselves. So if you imagine yourself being connected to all of these relationships, right? Especially if these relationships show up in your life as a matter of pattern, you are also part of the pattern. And in order for you to affect change, which is possible, you can't affect change so they will change, because that is still dependency. Like, I really want you to stop drinking so I could feel one way or another. But you detach from the conditioning inside of you that makes you part of that network, part of that reactive chain reaction. And by doing so, you interrupt the system that is set in place, and you become the catalyst for change that begins sending the current in a different direction. And that in turn shows people in your life that change is possible, A. And number 2, it just stops feeding the old machine. So it creates discomfort, it creates friction that isn't caused by you to change them, but it creates natural friction from you stepping into your own wholeness. And if they want to take that baton from you and start changing their life, it's going to have to happen from inside of their own reality, from their own will, not because you want them to change, but because they've realized that they are tired of hurting or tired of hurting other people. Now, you may not want to leave this relationship. You might be okay. You'd be like, you know what? I don't like that they're hurting. I don't like that they're hurting themselves, but I'm not quite ready to dissolve this. Or maybe I'm not able to dissolve this. Maybe I am a mother to this person, right? And I still have to finish raising them. And, try to put my best foot forward here in order to create shifts. Maybe there is addiction in the family. Maybe there's codependence in the family. When I do this work in this situation within the relationship, I always keep an open, present mind, meaning I'm willing to change my mind about staying or going. I also don't hold love hostage to staying or going, meaning I can always love you unconditionally and tell you no, if that is appropriate. That isn't always an option on the table. And if I become honest with myself, and like I said before, see that I am part of the network, a connected network of relationship, so I must share some sort of consciousness with you. I'm not just in this family or in this lineage or in this relationship because aliens dropped me from heaven and I don't belong here. No, the reason I'm attracting addicts, the reason I'm attracting alcoholics, the reason I married one and now my kids are displaying this behavior, for example, or is because there is some part of my consciousness that was conditioned by that sort of behavior. And if I do my work and I uncover my wholeness without changing anything, then I can become a center in the presence of transformation. Again, not to change them, but to change the system. That is all you're responsible for, is changing yourself. That changes the network, interrupts the cycles of reaction, and in turn sets up the whole system for change. And that change will occur or not based on whatever the intention of the other person's soul and mind and life is. I'm going to tell you a beautiful thing that's going to occur to you if you do this work, because this has happened to me. You will see changes in your relationships, in the network. You will see changes in people who are connected with you. Not on your timeline, not how you think they're going to look like, but if you detach from your own conditioning that connects you to this network and uncover the connection to an independent, clear, and whole place without the world changing. Because what's addiction, right? Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, trying to change the world in one way or another, thinking the well-being that we have has to be obtained by either controlling the world or drugging the place that has experienced the pain. When you do this work and you uncover your own wholeness, you will tap into freedom. Freedom to make any choice that you want without losing the connection to love. You'll be able to stay grounded in that independence and in love while saying no to things. It simplifies things a lot. So check out this book. Identity work is very, very powerful. It's something that you could do on your own or bring into your therapy sessions if it's something you need support with. But it is available here on TikTok Shop. If you really get it, this is going to change your life. And